Today we're going to talk about fall protection. This toolbox talk is mainly for the supervisors to be able to guide their employees. It's my belief that each individual needs to be talked to a little bit differently. You can either use this talk by watching and listening or by developing your own words and standing in front of your own crew to give the talk, which is preferred but not necessary. And before everybody checks out, because if they've heard this talk before, I want you to hear me on this. Fall protection is not about a harness. It's not about a lanyard. It's not about checking a box because safety said so or Scott said so. Fall protection is about making sure the person who climbs up walks back into their house tonight. That's what this is about. Because a fall doesn't have to be from 40 feet to ruin your life. You can fall off a ladder. You can fall off a platform. You can fall from a lift. You can fall through an opening. You can fall into a shaft, into an excavation. You can fall off a trailer, the back of your truck. You can fall off equipment. And in 1 second, everything changes. 1 second. That's all it takes. Most people don't get hurt because they didn't know the rule. They get hurt because they got comfortable. They thought, I'm only going to be up here for a second. I don't need to tie off for this. I've done this 100 times. I'll be careful. But careful is not fall protection. Experience is not fall protection. Balance is not fall protection. And confidence is not fall protection. A real control is fall protection. When we're working at height, the first thing we need to ask is not, do I have my harness? The first question is, where is the fall hazard? Where can someone fall? Where can someone fall through? Where can someone or something, where's something that somebody can fall into? And what are we going to do about it before work starts? That's the mindset. Not after somebody's already up there. Not after the lift is in the air. Not after the hole has been opened. Not after the crew is already exposed. Before. Fall protection starts before the work starts. And I want to make this pretty simple. There are really 3 ways we should be thinking about this. First, we can eliminate the fall hazard completely. Can we do the work from the ground? Can we use a tool extension? Can we pre-build something down low? Can we change the sequence so nobody has to be exposed? That's the best fall protection. No exposure. Second, can we guard the hazard? Can we put up a guardrail? Can we cover the hole? Can we barricade the edge? Can we use a proper platform? Can we use a lift correctly? If we can protect the whole crew with a guardrail or a cover, that's better than relying on every single person to tie off perfectly every single time. And the third, if we cannot eliminate it and we cannot guard it, then we need personal fall protection. That means the harness. That means the lanyard. That means the SRL. That means the anchor point. And it means fall clearance and a rescue plan. Not just one piece of that, all of that. Because a harness by itself is not a plan. A harness without the right anchor is not a plan. A harness without enough fall clearance is definitely not a plan. A harness without a rescue plan is definitely not a plan at all. That's just equipment. And equipment only works when it's used the right way. So let's talk about the basics. Anchor, body, connector, ABC. Anchor is where you tie off, and this matters. You do not need to tie off to something because it looks strong. Not a handrail unless it's designed for that. Not a conduit. Not a cable tray. Not a random pipe. Not rebar. Not a piece of equipment because it's convenient. Not something that should probably hold. That's not how we do this. Your anchor point needs to be approved. It needs to be capable. It needs to be part of the plan. If you don't know where to tie off to, stop and ask. Don't guess. Don't make it up. Don't clip onto something and hope that it works. Hope is not a control. The body part is your harness. Inspect it before you use it. Look at the webbing. Look for cuts. Look for burns. Look for frays. Look for chemical damage. You're going to look for broken stitching. You're going to look at the D-ring. You're going to look at the buckles. You want to look at all the labels. If something looks wrong, say something. Don't put on damaged gear. And wear it right. Not half buckled. Not loose. Not with the leg straps hanging down. Not with the chest strap wrong and it's going to choke you to death if you fall. A harness that is worn wrong can hurt you badly if you fall. It may stop the fall, but it can still injure you. So take the extra minute and put it on right. Check your buddy or your coworker. Have somebody look at yours. That's what they do in airplanes when they jump out of an airplane. That's how good crews operate. The connector is your lanyard, your SRL, your lifeline, your rope grab. Whatever you are using between your harness and your anchor, check it. And this is where people get fooled. They think, I'm tied off. I'm good. Maybe, maybe not. Do you have enough fall clearance? Are you using the right lanyard? Is the SRL being used in a way it was designed? Are you tied off overhead? Are you creating swing fall? Are you going to hit something below before the system actually catches you? Because if you tie off, but you still hit the ground, we didn't protect you. If you fall and swing into steel, we didn't protect you. If you fall into equipment, we didn't protect you. So don't just ask, am I tied off? Ask, if I fall right here, right now, what happens? That question will save someone's life. Let's talk about 100% tie off, because this is where a lot of people get hurt. They tie off while they're working. Then they unhook to move. And they tell themselves, it's just for a second. That second is where the fall happens. If the job requires 100% tie off, then 100% means 100%. It means you stay connected while you move. It may mean using two lanyards, and it may mean repositioning. It may mean stopping and setting up a better anchor. It may mean changing the plan. What it does not mean is unhooking and hoping nothing happens. You don't get to schedule a fall. You don't get to pick when your feet slip. You don't get to pick when the wind hits you. You don't get to pick when the surface shifts. You don't get to pick when your balance fails you. That's why we stay tied off. Not because we're scared, but because we're smart. Now let's talk about holes and edges, because this is one of the easiest things to walk past. A hole in the floor, an opening, a shaft collar, an excavation edge, a pit, a drop-off, an open hatch, a piece of plywood or belt line over an opening. These things need to be controlled. If we cover a hole, that cover needs to hold. It needs to be secured. It needs to be marked. A loose piece of plywood laying over a hole is not fall protection. That's a trap. Somebody comes walking through carrying material, doesn't know what's under it, steps on it, and now we have a very serious incident, an accident. Same thing with edges. Caution tape is not a guardrail. A cone is not a guardrail. A ribbon does not stop a person. A verbal warning does not stop gravity. If the fall hazard is real, the control needs to be real. Guard it, cover it, barricade it, tie off. But don't ignore it. Ladders are another one. And ladders get people, because everybody thinks they know ladders. We use them at work. We use them at home. I just used one today. We use them all the time. So people get pretty casual. They overreach. They stand too high. They carry way too much. They don't keep 3 points of contact. They'll set the ladder on bad ground. They lean it wrong. They don't move it because they only need 1 more inch. Listen, if your belt buckle is outside the rails, then you're already making a pretty bad decision, and you're out of balance. So climb down, move the ladder, take the 2 minutes. I would rather lose 2 minutes moving a ladder than lose a person for 6 months because they tried to stretch 1 more inch. That's not worth it. It's not worth that. It's not worth the task. It's not worth anything. Same thing with lifts. If you're in a boom lift, tied off to an improved anchor point in the basket, not to a structure outside the basket, not to something nearby, not to whatever is convenient. Use the equipment the way it was designed. Keep your feet on the floor. Don't climb on the rails. Don't stand on material to get higher. Don't put a ladder in the basket unless there's it's reviewed and an approved plan that allows it, right? The lift is a work platform. Don't turn it into a circus act. If it doesn't reach, we need a different lift or a different plan, not a shortcut. And here's the part that gets missed all the time. Rescue. Fall protection does not end when the fall stopped. If somebody falls and is hanging there in a harness, we have a very different problem. How are we going to get them down? Who's calling for help? Who knows the rescue plan? Can we reach them with a lift? Can we lower them? Can we access the area? What if they're over equipment? What if they're over an excavation? What if they're near a shaft? What if they're inside a structure? We can't wait until someone is hanging there to figure this out. That is not a plan. And there will be panic before the work starts. We need to know what happens if the fall protection system actually gets used. Because if we don't have a rescue plan, we don't have a complete fall protection plan. Now here's the leadership part behind this. If you see someone exposed to a fall hazard, you need to say something. If your buddy or coworker is not tied off, say something. If the hole cover is loose, say something. If the ladder is set up wrong, speak up. If someone is climbing rails on a lift, say something. If the supervisor is the one doing it, you need to say something. I don't care what their title is. Gravity does not care what your title is. And speaking up does not make you difficult. It does not make you weak. It does not make you a problem. It means you give a damn about the people you're around, the people you work with. The strongest crews are not the crews that stay quiet. The strongest crews are the crews that stop each other before something goes wrong, and they respect each other, and they listen to each other. That's what we need here. We don't walk past it. We don't assume someone else has it. We don't say, that's not my person. If you say it, you own the responsibility to speak up. Supervisors, this is on us too. The crew is watching what we allow. If we allow shortcuts, they become the new standard. If we walk past bad tie-offs, we approved it. If we walk past an open hole, we approved it. If we let someone climb a rail, we approved it. If we say, just get it done, then we should not be surprised when people take risks to get it done. The crew reflects the leader. So we have to set the tone. We plan it. We inspect it. We correct it. We stop it when it's wrong. And we back up the people who speak up. That is how you build a crew that protects each other. So before we break this off today, look at the job. Where can somebody fall? Where can somebody fall through? Where can somebody fall into? Where are the ladders? Where are the lifts? Where are the edges? Where are the openings? Where are the shafts? Where are your pits? Where are the excavations? Where are the trailers or equipment people are climbing on? And then ask the real question. What are we doing about it before the work starts? Not later. Not after lunch. Not after someone almost falls. Before. Because fall protection is not about surviving the fall. It's about preventing the fall. Tie off, guard it, cover it, barricade it, plan to rescue, and speak up. That's how we go home the same way we showed up. So today, ask your crew these questions. Where is our biggest fall hazard today? What holes, edges, shafts, pits, or openings need to be protected? If we need to tie off, where is the approved anchor point? Do we have enough fall clearance for the gear that we have? If somebody falls and is hanging in a harness, how do we get them down? Who needs to speak up if something does not look right? My name is Scott Chest, and this is Lead the Middle. Thank you.